Hey, I'm back with another theory about something I think might happen in Onyx Storm, so this is your spoiler warning to click away if you don't want to hear any speculation before reading the book. If you do enjoy this kind of theorizing and haven't already seen them, you might like these other videos I made about the hill I'm willing to die on regarding Violet's second signet, and the one about who I think is going to end up being the main villain of the series. Okay, I recently noticed something which now has me thinking that some dragons might have special powers not unlike Rider's signets, so let's get into it. This theory really hinges on a single word in the middle of a passage in Fourth Wing, and its usage seems pretty innocuous, so I feel like I need to start with why I think so much could be implied by such a small hint. I'm sure a lot of people are already familiar with the narrative principle often called Chekhov's gun, but in case you haven't heard this term, or just for a refresher, here's a quick primer. The term was basically extrapolated from a letter in which renowned playwright Anton Chekhov wrote, "One must not put a loaded rifle on the stage if no one is thinking of firing it." Or, as it's often phrased, if it's not going to be fired, it shouldn't be hanging there. Basically, it's the idea that a writer should eventually end up paying off any detail that is planted but not used earlier on in a story. Rebecca Yarros is masterful at doing this, and being impressively subtle about it. For example, in the scene where Xaden has just ended all of the unbonded cadets that tried to kill Vi in her sleep, she's thinking to herself, "I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive." I repeat the mantra in my head as Xaden wipes the blood from my dagger on the back of Orin's tunic. "Yes, you're alive." Xaden steps over Orin's body and two others. That is Chekhov's gun. It's one of several little details that Rebecca Yarros planted early on which don't get explicitly paid off until the second half of the next book when we learn about Xaden's second signet. Granted, a couple of lines later it is couched a bit when Vi says, "I didn't realize I'd said that out loud," which sows doubt about whether she actually did or not. But if you look carefully at the punctuation, when she's repeating "I'm alive," it's not in quotations like spoken dialogue. The italics means she was in fact thinking it. Not to mention that the theory did turn out to be right, so now we know for sure. If we'd been paying close enough attention, we could have figured out that Xaden was an intrinsic at that point in the story. So, what is this other instance I found that looks to me like a very subtle seed having been planted? In Chapter 19 of Fourth Wing, after the dragons explain Feathertail gifts to Violet and Xaden, there's a passage that contains a word that sticks out to me. "They're not going to find out," Xaden promises. "No one is going to tell them. Not you, not me, not them." He motions with one hand toward our trio of dragons. "Understand?" "He's right," Taryn says. "They can't find out, and there's no saying how long you'll have the ability. Most Feathertail gifts disappear with maturity when they begin to channel." Did you catch it? That word, right there. Most Feathertail gifts disappear with maturity. That is Chekhov's gun. If we never end up coming across a dragon that retains its gift after maturity, then including the word most would be akin to hanging a loaded gun on the wall in a play but never writing a scene where it gets used. So I at least feel convinced that an adult dragon is going to end up having and using a Feathertail-style gift. In fact, I suspect there's already precedent for this, which was also cleverly disguised. During the Battle of Resson in Chapter 36, this happens. Taryn puts us into position, hovering 20 feet above ground as Liam flies for the griffins above us, wielding spears of ice into the injured wyvern's throat. Blood streams as the wyvern falls from the sky with an ear-piercing cry. Liam was wielding ice, but his signet is Farsight, so how could he have done that? Apparently some have theorized that all marked ones have second signets, but first of all, I think that would have come to light by the end of Ironflame, and secondly, there's a better explanation with proof to back it up. All of the dragon names are derived from Gaelic. For example, Taryn's full name means thunder, which obviously makes sense with Violet's lightning wielding. Sigale's name is a little trickier. It seems to be a modified spelling of a similar Gaelic word meaning shadow, which again makes sense with Xaden's first signet. So, what does Liam's dragon's name, Day, mean in Gaelic? I can tell you that it has nothing to do with Farsight, and I bet at this point you can put the pieces together. I think Day was an example of a dragon that retained his Feathertail gift after maturity, and Liam was able to wield those ice spears because it was Day's gift. And I feel sure of it because in Gaelic, Day means ice. So that had me fully convinced, and I tried to move on to speculating about what dragon is going to end up paying off this Easter egg and what their gift will be. One obvious possibility is Andarna, because we already know what her Feathertail gift was, and I personally have no idea what her Gaelic name, the Second Honor, is going to end up meaning. I'm pretty dubious about this idea, though. Andarna states very explicitly at the beginning of Iron Flame that she can't stop time anymore, so unless Rebecca Yarros provides a very satisfactory rationale for why Andarna would have been lying there, I don't see that getting retconned. I do think using Liam and Day as the precedent offers us a hint as to what trail we should follow if we want to figure out more, though. Dragon names. I don't think Sigale or Tairn will end up having retained their Feathertail gifts because their names already make sense relative to their riders, a Shadow Wielder riding a dragon named Shadow and a Lightning Wielder riding Thunder. But I suspect there must be another Rider-Dragon combo whose names don't mesh like Liam and Day, a rider with Farsight riding a dragon named Ice. Unfortunately, though, that's as far as I've gotten with this one, and I'm actually hoping you might be able to help me flesh this theory out more. If you know or can figure out the meanings of other dragons' names that don't really make sense in relation to their riders yet, let me know in the comments. It is possible that we don't have enough context. Maybe this will end up getting paid off by a dragon we haven't been introduced to yet, so you know I'll be trying to translate the names of any new dragons we meet in Onyx Storm. Some of them are pretty tricky with different spellings or compound words though, so perhaps the hints will be so subtle that we won't be able to recognize them until after the big reveal. But I feel certain that there will eventually be a dragon using a signet-like power, and that we'll be able to look back afterwards and, just like with Xaden's intrinsic signet, see where Rebecca Yarros teased it ahead of time. If you like this kind of thing, I bet you'd also enjoy the fanfiction I'm writing that retells the events of Fourth Wing from Xaden's point of view with a lot of original side story thrown in, so if you're interested, you can check that out here. And then finally, there's another theory video that I'm thinking about making, but I'm undecided at this point. I think the end of Iron Flame implies pretty heavily that there must be some kind of prophecy that Andarna is aware of which Violet is going to fulfill. I'm on the fence about making a video about this one because for me it feels like there's a lot of holes that can't be filled in yet, like who made the prophecy back around the time of the Great War 600-ish years ago, who else might know, or how it's going to come to light. I think there's enough context to tease out a couple of major aspects of the prophecy though, so if you'd like to see a video that dives into the relatively little evidence that we have to go on at this point, let me know in the comments, and if there's enough interest, maybe I'll end up making that one. Anyway, if you want more of this kind of thing, you can click here to watch the theory videos I made about Vi's second signet and the main villain, or over here to listen to the audio version of my Xaden POV fanfiction. Thanks for watching.